This is the OnePlus 9R, and this phone is the representation of just how confused OnePlus is when it comes to releasing a phone in the most competitive segment of the smartphone market. At the price of 40,000 rupees, this phone sits right in the middle of a segment which is dominated by very similarly spec'd phones which aim to provide the high-end experience while charging half the price. The flagship killers, as they like to be called. Ironically, a term given birth to by OnePlus themselves. By the end of this video, you will know how this phone is, what is so damn confusing about it, and whether you should buy this phone or some other phone. So in a competitive market where there are multiple manufacturers making similarly priced products which are also very similar in their capabilities or what they can do for the consumer, there is only one way a manufacturer can make a product which sells more than all of the competitors. The product needs to have something different, something special, which makes it more attractive to the consumers than all of the other products which are at the core very similar to it. This can only be done in two ways. You can either make a product which is more capable than the competitors while also charging the price that is equal to the competitors. Or you can make a product which is just as capable as all of the other competitors but is available for a lower price. Alright, remember this? Keep this in your mind. We're going to come back to this later. Now the OnePlus 9R. What does it have? It has a relatively good looking design. Choice of materials is as good as it can get for the price. Glass on the back, glass on the front, aluminum sides. The glass is smooth with a matte finish. The phone is slim enough to fit in your hand easily, despite of how tall and wide it is. It's pretty standard, nothing really out of the world or a step above, as it should be for the price range. But it's matte black, so I'm a little bit biased towards how good it looks. The display is also as good as it can get for the price. 120Hz, full HD resolution, great colors, great brightness. You can watch HDR content on Netflix and YouTube. HDR is better because it makes the shadows look more detailed and deeper while also making the highlights brighter and sharper. So what you end up getting when you're watching an HDR video is way better than what you normally see. You never struggle with using it outside. I see no stutters while using it. There is no tinting. When it comes to displays at this price, this is as good as it can get again. The performance has also been pretty amazing. I have played the most intense games on it with all the maxed out settings on the book. It heats up at a certain point just below the earpiece, but nothing which makes it unusable in any way. All apps perform really well. This is nothing short of a flagship performance when it comes to anything about this phone. The RAM holds the apps open for as long as you want them, and it just never stutters or slows down. The software is Oxygen OS, and as always, it lives up to the name. It is one of the reasons for the great performance that you can see everywhere on this phone. It's smooth, bloatware is non-existent, nifty little features and customizations help you make the phone truly yours while never being overbearing or heavy enough to slow down the phone in any way whatsoever. Animations are also so smooth and easy. Using the phone with Oxygen OS is just a breeze. The battery life is great enough that I can use it whichever way I want and it would last through an entire day with a screen on time of 6 hours at least. It charges really fast too. Takes about 40 minutes from 0 to 100%. In-display fingerprint scanner is in the right place and is really fast. Speakers are loud and clear. And the reception is also great. The camera is okay. When the lighting is great, the shots look really good. The dynamic range is great. The details are great. The pictures do not seem over-sharpened. Colors are a bit oversaturated in some places, but never too much. The details still get lost easily in the darker parts, but overall the pictures come out looking great. A white balance seems good too. The photos never seem too warm or cold. They look exactly how I could see them, which is nice. But the camera quickly falls apart when you're clicking pictures indoors with some average lighting. The colors are too saturated. The details still remain, but only in well-lit parts. The shadows easily lose all the details and all the information. Darker colors easily turn into black. The details get lost in highlights too. And all of this just makes it seem pretty average. The ultrawide performs mostly the same. The colors are a bit more washed out though. The dynamic range in good lighting is excellent. The macro lens, while not that sharp, does the job that it's supposed to do. It's not really something that was important to be added, but it was added to just make the camera a quad camera setup. The night mode, called Nightscape, does well with low light choice. The details and sharpness are recovered. The shots do look a bit too bright, but it does better than the low expectations set for it by the rest of the camera. The video coming out of this is also pretty average too. Stabilization works well, but again, details are lost easily in the darker parts of the video. The video is only decent when you make it in optimal lighting. Exposure works fine, since whenever there is a very bright light in the background of the subject remains pretty well exposed. The front camera is good enough. It clicks detailed shots no matter how the light is, and it can get bad whenever the lighting conditions go bad, but most of the time it does the job it's supposed to do. So when you sum all of this up, you get a camera which is okay. It can do its job well when the conditions are good enough, but it can quickly fall apart when the conditions are not the best. So after understanding everything good and bad about this phone, let's just make a list of all the good things about it. Great build quality and materials, excellent display, amazing performance, best in class software, great battery, fast charging speed. Remember the thing we talked about with the competitive markets? Let's get back to that now. Now when we consider the competition that this phone has, great build quality and materials is something that a lot of other phones are providing. Some look even better than the 9R while costing much less. So the OnePlus 9R design is great, but nothing special. The display on this phone is very well matched by all of the competition. They have the same resolution, the same refresh rate. The only advantage that the 9R's display has is support for HDR content when you're watching it on Netflix. It's good, but it's not something that is a deal breaker when it comes to buying some other phone in the same price range. So the display is great, but not special. When it comes to performance, OnePlus 9R is amazing. But a phone that starts at the price of 28,000 can give you the exact same performance, if not better. While a phone that costs only 2,000 rupees more can give you the processor which is available with the highest end OnePlus 9 Pro. So, performance is great, but not special. The charging speed is amazing and very rare, but still, there are two other cheaper phones which can give you the same speed of charging. So, battery life, charging speed, great, but again, not special. So that leaves us with best-in-class software. And yes, OxygenOS, as always, gives you the smoothest experience and with absolutely no bloatware, except a few pre-installed apps, which I honestly think you would install anyway, like Amazon and Netflix. This was a huge advantage 2 years ago. In 2021, the gap is reducing every day, and having OxygenOS is soon not going to be enough. Because at the end of the day, if the consumer is getting a better product for a lower price or a much better product for a slightly higher price, they're going to move over, even if the software is just a few ways away from OxygenOS. Yes, I understand that there are plenty of good things about this phone, but all of these good things are not special or exclusive to it. And the advantage that this phone has is being slowly wiped away every day. That is before we even start to discuss the camera on this phone, which is well beaten by S20 FE 5G, a phone which although has an inferior design, a slightly slower processor, but amazing camera for the price and great software, while costing just 2,000 or 3,000 higher than the OnePlus 9R. And in some cases even less than that. All of these things lead me to believe that OnePlus is not exactly sure what they want to do here. They wanted to launch a phone in this price range. The price range for which OnePlus Nord is not meant for and OnePlus 9 Pro is very far from. Now they could have easily made a great phone, which has the same exact things that the 9R does, but just a better camera. Or at least a better camera than the S20 FE 5G. But that would also make OnePlus 9 pointless. And going by what actually has happened, OnePlus has made two phones which are pointless. Because both of these phones are priced a little bit higher for what they can do, and the competition is giving much better value for a lesser price. They could have just given us one phone which has a great camera and everything else that is amazing about the 9R, and this phone would have easily dominated the premium mid-range segment, while also being much further away than the price segment of the 9 Pro and not affecting its sales. But of course, I'm no business expert here. I do not know what went on with OnePlus and why they chose to release 3 phones instead of 2. They must have had their reasons, but I think launching 2 phones would have been the better decision. So at the end of the day, the answer to the question that whether you should buy this phone or not is not. There are a lot of other phones which cost less but give you exactly what the OnePlus 9R does, or some phones which cost slightly higher and of much better things than the OnePlus 9R. This is mainly because OnePlus 9R doesn't have anything special that gives it the competitive advantage to make it better than all of the other phones that are available for a relatively similar price. The OnePlus 9R is basically stuck in no man's land. It has a high price, while only a single advantage that is being wiped out with every passing day. That is bound to happen when you're trying to launch a phone in the price segment of flagship killers, while also not trying to kill your own flagship. So that covers it. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it, and comment any questions you have that this video may not have answered, and comment the name of the phone which you might want me to review in the premium mid-range segment. At the end of this video, you're also going to see the list of phones that I consider the competition for the OnePlus 9R, the phones which you may want to consider instead of the OnePlus 9R. Share this video with the people who are thinking about the OnePlus 9R so that they stop thinking about it and look for something else instead. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you real soon in the next one.